everybody, welcome back today guys to the channel. F1 2021, we're back today with some online gameplay in the beginner friendly lobbies. Now I actually captured this the other night. I was playing and I just wanted to sit down and focus and drive. Now these lobbies are very nice considering the fact that there is ghosting on. The penalties are kind of, not as strict as they are usually in the expert lobbies, right? You don't have to worry about everybody hitting you. So the first race, we're in Canada, hometown track, never been there. And they give us the entire thunderstorm right now. This was very treacherous, considering the fact that I'm running with no assist turned on. We have our driving line turned on though, but stability, traction, I'm using ERS, DRS, and everything like that. So first corner, I bin it. Now, I did not know this, but thankfully the game does auto reset you on the track in motion, and you don't have to sit there trying to get caught up to the grid. Because honestly, that is a little bit of a discouraging thing to see when you do spin out and you're just getting lapped by everybody. So it does give a good kind of push back onto the track, and I think that's a huge feature on the online gameplays to keep everybody playing and motivated to finish the laps. Now it's only 5 laps, mind you, but the 5 laps are pretty intense, especially when you have everybody ghosted together. And when you do get up to the packs, those first few corners, sometimes you are missing your braking points or your turn-in points just because of the fact you can't see with the amount of drivers that are out here, mixed in with the rain and everything like that. But it was a lot of fun hopping online. I definitely would like to do more of these moving forward. If you guys do want to see it, let me know in the comment section. But right here though, I ended up losing it. Just tried to correct it a little bit, and I learned very fast on these few races how to control the car in these wet conditions, because not once but a couple times they give us the wet weather. It is tough to lay down some traction when you do have those puddles just splashing everywhere. We did get the rare achievement unlocked, mixing it up, edited your customization, and completed a race online. Didn't get driver of the day, unfortunately, but there's always another race at hand, and I did a couple of these, and I wanted to make sure I was just focused, not recording anything else other than just the gameplay. I've been watching a lot of the big top F1 YouTubers, and they don't even showcase their wheel cam usually. It's just the gameplay, because they are so focused, because these races do take a lot of just precision driving all the time. As soon as you make one mistake, you are going to be losing seconds on your laps, and in F1, right, seconds are everything. Race number 2 of the day, placed a little bit back here on the grid, but we're here at the Red Bull Ring. I have driven this course on Gran Turismo Sport, but when you're driving online, all of that goes out the window, especially when you are going so fast. This is the first time I've really played online for any of these games. I mean, F1 is just, it is so quick, and compared to the GT3, GT4 spec cars that I've been driving on Gran Turismo, it just is everything in fast motion. It feels like everything is just fast forward, and right, it is a quick experience. That's why you just got to be mentally focused and drive. Right, obviously I'm not. I'm going off the course. Turn 1, we started this race off in P12, moved up to P8 here, and well, no, it says no. Correction, we're now P10. These positions change so fast, especially when you do get in these groups, because you are ghosted. But I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It really did keep things, fun and not frustrating. The fact that people will be pushing us on. Now, usually I don't like ghosted lobbies. I've said that all the way in Forza, but I mean, Forza is a little bit different than F1 in that aspect. It's a lot more professional driving, and you can't have any contact on F1. If you make any kind of contact, you're both usually going to be spinning out, unless you can hold on to it. But this game does require that extra level of focus that I think no other game that I've played really has. Now, I was using my Thrustmaster SF1000 throughout these races and absolutely loved it. Force feedback felt great. I was able to tweak it on the fly as well too if I wanted to in the pause menus. I think I was hovering around 70-ish force feedback on there. I'd love to know if you guys are using it and what force feedback levels you are on. But it felt strong, it felt tight, and some of these times you can feel the road just actually give on you, and you have to kind of hold it a little bit more, but you can really feel all those bumps in the road. And Thrustmaster is paired very nice with this force feedback on here. And obviously we have played F1 before. I think that this one now more than ever, even with the consensus around the F1 community, the curbs on this game are way more dangerous, and you're going to see that a couple times on these gameplays. But the curbs will spit you out, even if you're really thinking that you're going to be fine. But you really just have to know what curbs not to touch. If you can get your bases around each track and really dial in some lap times, I'm excited to hop in my very first expert lobby on this game. Hopefully I will not end up binning it into the corner the first lap. But I did like this aspect. It showed the replay of everybody driving around, but some of the times when it did that, it would actually just freeze and just keep the cars going around and around and around, and you'd have to actually back out to the main menu and try again. So you'd kind of lose your lobby, you'd be put back into the queue. So it was a little frustrating in that aspect. I was happy though, we went to Hungary. Now, it is raining, as well as the start from this last weekend's race. If you guys did see that bowling on turn 1, absolutely wild to see Mercedes take out both of the Red Bulls on there. But I was very surprised to see Verstappen's car. I was very surprised to see Verstappen's car, actually okay after the contact that did happen. But we did get a pretty good launch, all things being considered, being wet. I didn't have to worry about anybody plowing into me, which was a huge thing. And I still managed to kind of overshoot the corner. Now we're in P11, almost losing it. Fortunately, I didn't have as much success as I did. You got to be ready to lift off at any point in time and hold your wheel. If you're not holding it sometimes, right, you're just going to end up losing it. And it's just something you need to experience in the wet to know you can and when you cannot hold it. Because it is something where you just end up learning, right? I mean, after the first few spinouts, you just kind of end up, being a little bit easier and easier on the throttle. So it's just trial and error, I feel like. But I didn't really do a lot of my career. I've been kind of waiting on that. But this did get very treacherous. We're in P14 coming around this corner right now. And unfortunately, I'm going to end up making my first mistake. And I felt like I was okay. Just threw it right into the wall. Thankfully, there is no damage on these lobbies. We got right back on the track with that kind of push that they give us. But just make sure you don't end up finding yourself back on the track, otherwise that will go away and you'll find yourself just from a standstill again. So just be careful, just stop what you're doing and let the game put you back on track if you are in a bad situation. But we did save it a couple times, again finding that fine line. We're on lap 1 as well too, so tires don't have a lot of grip, and I had to keep remembering that on these first few laps, because obviously F1 does play a huge role in tires. Even in these first 5 laps, I do believe we do have tire wear and stuff like that. They do go faster. Of course, we don't have to worry about fuel or anything, but right, it is pretty crazy.
Try to keep focus.
Right, but the tires though are everything on this game. You got to make sure you're not over cranking these corners, or you're just going to lose your contact patch as well too in the wet. So you really have to just make precise movements on the wheel. And right, it was a lot of fun. I did like the fast pace of these lobbies. Once you started getting into them, they would just flow super nicely. But if you did get spit out, you were waiting about, on average, I was waiting about maybe 10-15 minutes to get back into another proper lobby. So I was just praying that after every race we would get put back into the session. So obviously they're still fine-tuning things and just trying to work their way through there, but we're learning, right? I mean, this is the whole process of being in these beginner lobbies, is that nobody cares. You're not interrupting anybody else's line. You get to see everybody else at the same time, and that is what I really like about this. So I think they've done a great job, like I said, in just having everybody included in these lobbies and not making yourself get frustrated as you're racing, because that is never a good combo to have. Frustration as you're racing. You got to be nice, calm. I had fun nonetheless. Even though we finished in P15, I had fun at the end of the day, and that is all that matters. Now I am going to be inching a little bit closer here to the backpack, but right, again, oh my god, getting put back on the track, and that's going to do it. We're going to pack it in for P16, probably one of my worst finishes of the day on F1. I am chomping at the bit though. I want to start in my team. I just don't know if it's going to be worth it, if you guys are going to end up wanting to watch that. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below. We're moving into the Netherlands for this Grand Prix today, and I got to make sure that I'm saying Grand Prix, not Grand Prix, right? I see a lot of people, Grand Prix, no man, Grand Prix out here, right? The Hungarian Grand, right? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Canadian in me. All right, it's coming out. Here we go. We got 5 lights, and we are going green. Now, this was a very, very interesting race. Probably one of my best races that I've had to date on F1 2021. However, there's going to be a series of events that's not going to go in my favor. Now, we're going to start off very bunched up on these first few corners. Now, mind you, this was my first time on this track in quite a bit. I do believe this is Zandvoort. Pretty sure this is Zandvoort on here. Right, again, they don't tell you the track name, they just tell you the track country. So if you're someone like me that are struggling to know the track names offhand right off the bat, right, it is a little bit harder than normal. You have to actually go do a little bit of looking into, which I like in that aspect, right? It makes me kind of learn as I'm going. But this was a good race. Now, mind you, the driving line is really good. As long as you can stick to your driving line, even if you don't know your course, you know, that's going to come. But, you know, those first few laps when you're really just trying to get the pace, you know, started, the driving line is huge for that. And I kept that on for that exact reason. Otherwise, I would just be swimming out there, not knowing where to be on the track. So if you are struggling, it's okay. Put the driving line on. Nobody's going to see it unless you're like myself, who, right, I am showing you guys, I'm recording it, right? It's okay. You don't have to be ashamed about the driving line. Now, I did miss my corner completely, so I was a little bit ashamed on that, but you're going to find out here, though, we did make this back. Now, there was a couple things that I had questions about, one of which was a couple drivers in front had the X's on their name, and I was very curious as to why they did, if they were bots or what exactly that was, because I was passing a lot of these drivers on the straights. I wasn't too sure as to why, but nobody was using their ERS, it felt like. I was the only driver out there using ERS, so I don't know if they just didn't know where their buttons were, if we're in that much of a beginner lobby that they didn't know. But I made up a lot of time, it felt like, on those straights. So it kind of was weird. They didn't, right, they were kind of on the line the 100% of the time. So it was interesting. It kind of felt like maybe they lagged out and it was just the AI car taking over, which now that I'm looking back at it, look at how consistent they are in the line. I don't know. It's very possible. I'd love to know your thoughts down below. I'm trying to watch this right now and decide, but they are just so in sync. I don't know. It's tough. Right, there's no way. That is an AI train right there. So it looks like, I guess I was driving with bots, unless they're just that good. And I'm just that bad. I really don't know. I'd love to know your input down below. But a couple people have their connections. Some of them just say X'd out. So I'm going to go with, I was racing AI drivers. And we made a nice little move right there to go into P1 on that braking zone and went right by mostly the entire pack. And we're going to get challenged a little bit more. But other than that, though, we're going to hold our own on this Grand Prix today. Now, we're going to fast forward this. And this is where it starts to get interesting, though, because we end up holding this entire race. Don't look back. We end up pushing a gap on the car behind by about 2 seconds at the end of the day. It's about 1.9-ish coming around this last corner. But not that far behind. So I felt pretty good about this. And we're going to take our first win on F1 2021. Now, this is where I got worried. There was no audio, there was no achievement pop-up, there was nothing. And then it hits me. The session you are trying to join is no longer available, and it spits me out to the dashboard, and I don't get the win, man. Ladies and gentlemen, F1 2021, yeah, I'm upset. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching today. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.